fit the profile of what you expect. I mean, you expect those characters from Sex and the City to come out and talk about sex. That's what you expect. You don't expect someone like me who's kind of quiet, who's a doctor, who's a mother of 4, who's been married for 20 years. You just don't expect me to come out and talk about this topic openly in the way that I do. I grew up in a little town in Alabama, very quiet family. I mean, I'm really a very shy and quiet and kind of a prude in many ways in real life. I grew up in an environment in which girls were supposed to be quiet and coy, and men were supposed to be the aggressors. And I became a gynecologist, and I found that there were so many women who had similar experiences. My 18-year-old daughter, to tell you a story, when I first started doing this, she was about 13. And she thought it was the worst thing. She's like, Mom, can't you just be a regular mother? Why do you have to go out and talk about something like sex? I mean, she was so embarrassed. And then Oprah. When I was on Oprah, all of her friends were like, you have the coolest mom. I wish you were my mom. Can I get an autograph? Then all of a sudden she was like, oh, yes, this is my mother. Thank you, Mom. Oh, Mom, you're so smart. Then I was accepted. No, I'm not having sex every day. And sometimes it means that I have to plan it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. My husband and I make dates. Okay, Friday night, the kids are going to sleepovers, going to grandma's house, they're going somewhere, and you and I are going to have sex, and we have, 3 or 4 days to think about it, just like everybody else. We never forget that we're more than just parents. We are also a couple, and a sexual couple. I just felt that my earlier experiences caused a lot of pain and suffering on my part. And once I realized how powerful it was to embrace your sexuality, I had a lot of regret about those years that I lost. And so I really wanted to do something to make this better for other people. All these philosophical questions are going to put people to sleep. Let's talk about sex. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here to talk to you about my passion, sex. And my husband's very happy that it is my passion. But first I want to tell you a little bit about me, about the person, the woman. I was born in this little town in Alabama, and in my house, sex was not discussed. In fact, you never heard the word sex. I remember my mother sitting on the porch with one of her friends, and she spelled S-E-X. Now, I was a smart little girl. I put S-E-X, sex. Sex. What is sex? Obviously, it was something that you couldn't talk about openly and positively. And outside my home, all the messages that I got about sex were negative. It was a dirty thing. It was something to be ashamed of. But it was also something that you saved for your husband. It was bad, but you saved it for the person that you love the most. And so the first time that I had sex, I'm like, okay, here it is. This is the man I'm going to marry. It's finally coming. It's going to happen, this thing, this magical, beautiful, wonderful thing. And I was lying there, and I'm looking up at the ceiling. Suddenly, there's my mother.